The night was heavy with the sound of rain and betrayal. Gameon McDohl's boots pounded against the wet cobblestones of Gregminster, his breath ragged, his heart a drumbeat of grief. Ted, his friend, his brother in all but blood, had stayed behind, giving the trio a chance to escape. Without a place to go, Gamon's final hope was to seek refuge at Marie's inn. At the inn, Marie hurried them upstairs to stay hidden from the Imperial soldiers. "What in blazes is going on here? Imperial soldiers running around and you scurry in, soaked to the bones." Marie inquired in a motherly tone. "Never mind. I'm sure you have your reasons. Don't worry, you can stay here." Marie left the room. The trio caught their breath. How could this have happened? Gremio was still in disbelief. The only way we can return to the Empire is to go north and seek help from Master Teo. But first, we must find a way to flee. Gregminster? Cleo offered a sensible solution. Thinking that the coast might be clear, Gaemon went downstairs to gather more info on how the squad could possibly escape from Gregminster. Gameon reached for the door, but it swung open before he could touch it. 2 Imperial soldiers loomed in the threshold, their armor clinking, their eyes narrowing beneath dented helms. "Watch where you are going, you little squirt," one barked. "And just when I finally have a moment to catch my breath," the other soldier added. Gameon's heart pounding. Not knowing how to respond, he stayed silent. "You gonna run into me and not apologize?" the first soldier shouted. "Wait a minute. I recognize you from somewhere," he continued, jabbing a gloved finger at Gameon. Hearing the commotion, Gremio and Cleo rushed down. "Young master, are you all right?" Gremio accidentally spouted. "What is this young master business?" "He looks like the one we are after, the McDohl kid," the second soldier said, taking a closer look at Gameon. "If this escalates any further, we are in trouble," Cleo said. Gremio and Cleo readied themselves, hands by their weapons, and prepared for a fight. Before Steele could meet Steele, a shadow fell across the room. A broad figure swaggered in. "All right, calm down, buddy. You too, great Imperial sirs. Just think about it. Why would fugitives still be hanging around here? No one would be that stupid." The man's voice was rough, edged with a grin. He was tall, scruffy, a bear of a man with a sword slung carelessly over his shoulder. Viktor, they'd later learn. He clapped a hand on the nearest soldier's back, hard enough to make him stumble. "You're scaring the poor kid. Just leave this to me. I'll kick them out." Viktor dragged Gameon out of the situation before the soldiers could react. "Forget it. No need to always be sticking our necks out for the Empire," the first soldier said. As it turns out, Viktor had his own motives for helping the trio. "You used us to get a free meal?" Cleo couldn't believe it. "It worked out for all of us. Thanks for helping me out," Viktor said with a smirk. "You're that rebel McDohl kid, aren't you?" Viktor added. "We're not rebels!" Gremio said, almost shouting. "I couldn't care less, but I have an idea to get you out of here," Viktor said. "Help us out," Gaemon replied. He knew the priority is to escape Gregminster. Then the group can plan the next steps. On one condition. "It's nothing crazy. There's someone I want you to meet. With that out of the way, let's move." Viktor joined the group and they made their way to the city gates. The city gates loomed ahead, guarded by 2 more soldiers, their spears crossed. The trio slowed, breath catching. Viktor caught up, brushing past with a swagger. "Morning, lads," he called, flipping a pair of gold coins from a hidden pocket. They flashed in the dawn light, landing in the guards' palms. "Heard there's trouble back in town. Why not check it out? We'll just slip through." The guards exchanged a look, coins vanishing into their belts. "Trouble, eh?" Better see to it, one grunted, stepping aside. The spears lifted, and Gameon's group slipped past, Gregminster's walls fading behind them. We did it! I thought my heart would explode. Gremio absolutely relieved. Imperial soldiers talk a mean game, but money's their weakness. The capital is corrupt to its core, and it's coming apart at the seams, Viktor said with a grin. There's someone I'd like all of you to meet in Lennenkamp. Will you come along? Viktor reminded them of the promise. A promise is a promise, Gameon replied. The road from Gregminster had been a blur of dust and danger. Now Lennenkamp sprawled before Gameon McDohl and his companions, a tangle of weathered roofs and bustling streets, its air thick with the scent of iron and bread. Viktor clapped Gameon on the shoulder, his voice rough with cheer. Welcome to Lennenkamp. Not much of a town, but the local brew is excellent. Not that you can try it, of course, Viktor mocked. I gotta go take care of some business, so have a look around. With that, he vanished into the crowd, leaving Gameon, Gremio, and Cleo to navigate the town. They found refuge at the local inn. Knowing they are friends of Viktor, the innkeeper assigned them a room right behind the counter. Gremio sank onto a bench. Hey, Cleo. Why did Pan... Gremio obviously still couldn't get over Pan's betrayal. Just leave it, Gremio, Cleo said while scanning the room. The door outside slammed open. What could the ruckus be at this hour? Gremio alarmed. Imperial soldiers stormed into the inn. 5 of them, armor clanking, voices sharp. We've received reports that fugitives are staying at this inn. We'll be searching the place, one barked. They're after us, young master. That Viktor fellow must have ratted us out. Gremio suspected their new acquaintance first. If we stay here, they'll find us, Cleo added. The innkeeper tried to stall them, but the soldiers' boots thumped closer. Then, a creak, soft but deliberate. Behind a massive clock in the corner, its hands stuck at midnight, a panel slid open. A woman emerged, tall, poised, her flaming red hair catching the firelight. Odessa Silverberg. Her voice was calm, commanding. "This way, hurry up, do you want to get caught?" The trio scrambled after her, ducking through the hidden passage as the clock snapped shut, muffling the soldiers' shouts. "You must be Viktor's new friends. The others are waiting. Follow me," Odessa said, signaling them to follow. The tunnel twisted downward, damp stone underfoot, until it spat them into a low-ceilinged chamber, the Liberation Army's hideout. Lanterns cast flickering gold over rough walls. Odessa stood at the center, her presence steady as stone. Flick, lean and sharp-eyed, gripped his sword hilt. Humphrey loomed nearby, a mountain of a man, silent and scarred. Sanchez lingered by, a table, his fingers tapping a ledger, his gaze calculating. And of course Viktor, bear of a man, their new friend. "I'm Odessa Silverberg, leader of the Liberation Army. Nice to meet all of you." Odessa introduced herself formally, tone soft yet firm. "You guys are looking at the son of General Gameon McDohl, and a fugitive no less. Wouldn't he make a great asset to the Liberation Army?" Viktor introduced Gameon to the others. "What makes you think he'll join the rebel army? Isn't that right, young master?" Gremio is still loyal to the Empire, but at this point, Gameon had started to waver. It might not be a bad idea to join. What happened to Ted and what he saw in Rockland flashed through Gameon's mind. "It looks like you're wanted by the Imperials, and this place is still crawling with soldiers. You can stay here until all of this blows over. Whatever you do afterwards is your choice." Odessa gave the trio a temporary refuge. "You can't be serious, young master. Joining the rebels would be complete madness," Gremio insisted. "The Liberation Army might not be a bad idea at this point, but what would Master Teo think?" Cleo offered a more balanced opinion. Gameon was in deep thoughts as he wandered around the hideout. As he approached the exit, a man laid near the end of the stairs. "I must speak to Lady Odessa." He struggled to speak. The man is one of the bandits on Mount Seifu, and he came to report that his chiefs, Varkas and Sydonia, had been captured by Grady from Rockland, and they were being starved to death. Outrageous! Execution without a trial? That's forbidden even by Imperial law. Cleo was enraged. "The bandits rely on us. We can't betray their trust," Odessa said calmly. "It's our fault." Gameon admitted to what happened at Mount Seifu. "Even if you didn't know at the time, you're still responsible for your actions, right, Gameon?" Viktor said after listening to Gameon's story. "You gotta save Varkas and Sydonia. I'll go with you." Viktor continued. Gremio and Cleo agreed to saving the bandits. They couldn't approve Grady's action. The trio decided to visit Rockland once more to correct the mistake they made, this time with Viktor and their entourage. The road to Rockland wound through jagged hills, the air heavy with dust and the faint tang of smoke. Gameon McDohl led his entourage, Gremio muttering about the uneven path, Cleo scanning the shadows, and Viktor whistling a tune that grated on their nerves. Rockland loomed ahead, its streets quiet under Grady's iron rule. The mansion stood at the town's heart, a squat fortress where the bandits languished. "Security is tight. Sneaking in won't be easy," Gremio said. Viktor grinned, hefting a torch. "Just leave it to me. I'm used to this kind of thing." He struck, flint to steel, and flames roared to life, licking a stack of crates near the gates. Shouts erupted as guards scrambled toward the blaze, their armor clanking. "Must be all the dry weather we're having," Viktor said with a grin, and the team slipped through the distraction, ducking into the mansion. Imperial soldiers swarmed, waves of steel and snarls. Cleo's daggers flew, Viktor's blade danced, cutting a path, while Gremio's axe cleaved through a helm with a sickening crunch. Gameon fought at the center, the rune flaring as he struck, each blow fueled by Ted's memory. In the courtyard, Varkas and Sydonia hung limp, ropes biting into their wrists, their faces gaunt from starvation. Varkas glared defiance, his beard matted with dirt, while Sydonia slumped, eyes half open. Gameon slashed Varkas' bonds, Gremio steadying Varkas as he staggered free. "Give Sydonia a hand too, will you?" Varkas said. Sydonia set himself loose, stretched lazily, smirking. "That won't be necessary." "Sydonia, you bastard. If you could get free, why didn't you escape earlier?" Varkas is furious. "Can't very well escape on my own, can I?" Sydonia replied nonchalantly. Viktor laughed, but still cautious. "We'd better get out of here quick." The group encountered Grady as they were leaving the mansion, but with all his Imperial soldiers defeated, Grady offered no resistance. Outside Rockland, Varkas gripped Gameon's arm, his voice gravelly. "Looks like we're indebted to the Liberation Army now. Tell Lady Odessa that if she ever needs help, Varkas and Sydonia will run to her aid." Sydonia nodded, already twirling a dagger he'd snatched from a corpse. With a final salute, the pair vanished into the hills. Viktor clapped Gameon's shoulder, his grin softer now, and said, "Why don't you spend a little more time with the Liberation Army? What do you say?" Gremio huffed, wiping sweat from his brow, but Cleo's nod was firm, approving. "Young master, once we return to Lenin camp, let's plot our next course of action." Gameon glanced back at Rockland, flames licking the sky. The rune hummed, steady and warm. Varkas' debt was a thread tied, a spark of something bigger. With Viktor leading the way, they turned toward Lenin camp's hideout, the rebellion's pulse quickening in their steps. Back at the Lenin camp's hideout, Odessa and the other Liberation Army leaders were already planning the next course of action. After the mission at Rockland, Gameon had earned Odessa's trust, and she shared with them the blueprint for the fire spears, the Liberation Army's secret weapon. The Imperial Army sees us as an insignificant threat. But there'll come a day when we can face them head on. When that day arrives, fire spears will come in handy, Odessa said. Her eyes revealed a sense of confidence and hope. The blueprints needed to be delivered to the secret factory, and Odessa would like Gameon to take on the job. Gremio dismissed the idea and didn't want to betray the Empire. Don't you know what the Empire is doing? What the people truly want? Or are you going to feign ignorance? Odessa said, as Gremio was about to storm out. Gremio, you saw it with your own eyes, heard it with your own ears. What about you, Gameon? Still want to go back to the Empire? Go back to being General McDohl's little boy? Gameon had already decided that he had to walk his own path. Leknot's words flashed through his mind. Your destiny is always in your own hand. My father is his own man, and so am I, Gameon replied. Where the young master goes, I follow. My job is to protect him. Those are my orders from Master Teo. Cleo gave here unwavering support to Gameon. Gremio was silent, not sure how to respond. The next mission is now clear. The group would head to northwest of Lenin Camp, across the river to find Mount Tigerwolf. Beyond the mountain lies a village called Sarati, and the group would need to deliver the blueprint to a messenger from the secret factory there. Flick still had doubts on Gameon and his companions, but Odessa dismissed his doubts and said that she will join the team in this mission. With that, the new team is forged. Gameon, Gremio, Cleo, Odessa, and Viktor. The 5 of them would make their way to Sarati to deliver the Fire Spear's blueprint. The path to the destination would prove treacherous. This marks the end of the episode. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and see you in the next one.